Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Welcome back. Dion's back. Guess who's back? Well, yes, which is it? Both. That'd be the short answer. It's both. Can't have one without the other. Why would you advocate? Something probably made you mad. There's nothing wrong with being angry. It's how you use it. I'm not staying in it. So, no. Because I get that sometimes. People are like, you're just angry. You bet I'm angry. The fact that you're not angry is part of the problem. As long as it isn't detrimental to you, right? I don't want you to get so angry that you have a heart attack or something, you know. But without a little bit of anger, without a little bit of angst, things don't get done, man. All right. I tell you right now, changes do not happen. I tell you this, when I need stuff to happen in the house or anywhere, even in my grassroots group, I got to get a little angry. If I want a sponsee to get their butt moving on their 4-step, I might need to get a little angry. Just a little bit, though. Can't let it take over. So I'm going to tell you now, there are people better at balancing this than I am. I tell you that. All right, because it is a balance. Now, here's the problem. Anger doesn't always take the facts into account. That's the problem. All right. So if the anger can lead to advocating and you can leave the anger out, that's what's going to be best. All right. So I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read you a couple of different things. Okay. Okay. And you're going to hear the difference. Because this is what I do. Because even though I need to write these emails, I still need to get my anger out. Okay. So what I do, this is what I do. Okay. I go to Word, I write the email, however I want to write it. Okay. Then I put it into ChatGPT to do it the right way. I tell it, this is what it's going to, this is what it's for. Please set it in this tone. And yeah, so you're going to hear the difference. And I intentionally kind of made it, I didn't put all my angst into this. I can tell you that. But you can hear the anger in it. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. Now, does my anger need to be in it? No. No, it shouldn't be. Maybe. Oh, see, now here's the thing. I do what I can to be PC. I try and be kind. I'm a pretty kind guy. Okay. But I grew up very, 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 very rough. So I'm rough. I'm a rough person. When I bring these things up, you think it's easy for me to bring it up? And I'm supposed to, this is the way I see it. I'm supposed to fucking appease you. I don't take it that way. I don't. I don't like it that way. I think it's bullshit. Anyway, right. So This will kind of give you, and these are kind of lengthy. Okay, so here's the one that I wrote. Okay, and you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it, even though it does get my point across, right? So I know we are all very busy, and I will apologize at the start, as this will be a lengthy email. I have several fears with this new move, but this is my main one. Colorado again in 2025 is dead last in recovery service, and the overdose rate went up, yet we receive the same resources and processes. In recovery, we call this insanity, and it is nothing short of it. First, I reached out to so and so in the start of 2022, 4 years ago. In that time, I've had to rebuild relationships with four different directors, and my time with East Metro Detox was not a good experience. I had reached out to help start AA meetings, get books in the detox, and give him a heads up that he was working with some nefarious people, mostly the Blah Blah Foundation and Blah Blah Sober Living. You guys don't need to know this stuff. Who could just got caught in Medicaid fraud of a chargeback of $80,000, informed him that Hazelbrook was using East Metro Detox to body broker these people seeking recovery. The same thing I have informed every single manager and director, including yourself, yet I still saw them at the grand opening. Malcolm begged me to work at Detox, and my reply was it was not a good idea at the moment. He told me he would work with me, and I have emails to prove that. Well, it did not work out, and it was one of the worst jobs I had, and I love working Detox when I can help. When I went to training, everyone else was asked to take a personality test beforehand. That was not sent to me. I was left out of most conversations and was snubbed by others. I found a lot of stigma while I was worked like there, like not being on the computer system, doing notes by hands, and not being on the same phone system. For months, I tried to get AA literature into detox with no avail. I was told to be bold and was given H&I, which is hospitals and institutions, in case you don't know. When I found out that the clients were being refused service for medications for heart conditions, I said, hey, I can help with that. And my supervisor, Connor, said, good luck. I have a lot of connections, so I set up a meeting between Malcolm and Ann Schutz and was written up for it. Whenever I brought up AA, staff always pushed back saying AA was not the only way. That is true, but they are the number one way. There was no good resources, and while working there, I did not help one person, and it's still a mess. It was and still a mess. When I wrote blah blah and asked to transfer to another location as I was moving, he said that he accepted my resignation for 2 months. For 2 months, I had to ask AMH or mental health for an exit interview, which was useless and made no change. All she said was, I'm sorry you feel that way. Even though I have not been treated well by AMH, I continue to support and was hoping that after 4 years we would see commitment. You would see the commitment. I hoped that we would get better, but it has gotten worse. And now here we are, 4 years of waiting for no change. I spend most of my time working the front lines, and detox is a great place for that. I've offered several great solutions and have been ignored, and I'm tired of being ignored. And you'll find that I'm pretty insistent. We have had great talks and making changes, but after everything, you only let me run an AA meeting that clients cannot attend. Then why bother? To me, this just looks like this just looks at like to me it just looks like we're doing great things when really we need to help others. One recovered alcoholic helping another is the best way to get someone sober, yet we refuse to do it. Most of the people working in this field are either clinical or unhealed alcoholics avoiding doing the work through toxic positivity. I have two sides out here, one yelling spirituality, one yelling clinical, and they are both wrong. We will not survive without both of these. If you look at the states that are doing well, you will see how they hold their resources accountable and they are allies of AA. Colorado is not doing that, and we need to change this to have some sort of peer to peer that actually works. With that, I'd like to say that I have offered help with the resources at least 5 times and still no answer on it. Why is that? It concerns me considering I saw several of them invited to the grand opening. It is not just me concerned, but a lot of my followers, and we are tired of waiting. So either we come together and find a way to vet resources or we get the same thing, more death. I would rather help than be a thorn in your side, but I will speak loud and a lot to get what we want, which is the right thing. Is East Metro willing to change, or are you going to give us the same thing we have already gotten? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I see nothing wrong with that email. I don't. In fact, while I was reading that email, I noticed that Chat GPT kept a lot of stuff out that needs to be talked about. It made it too PC, so I'm gonna have to work on this a little. But did you hear the angst in there? You could hear a little bit of anger, not as much as I thought there was going to be, though. I thought I was a little bit angrier than that. Well, I asked God for the right words, and I started writing. All right, this is what ChatGPT gave me, and it is a lot shorter, right? But it sounds, and it sounds pretty and everything, but it doesn't get to what we need. Right? What about the fact that I wasn't treated well and things like that? No, that needs to be talked about. So I recognize, so this is what it wrote for me. I recognize the demands on your time and appreciate your willingness to read this. I'm writing because after 4 years of engagement, there is a growing concern among several community stakeholders regarding the direction and effectiveness of peer integration and resource oversight at East Metro Detox. Now, while I'm reading this, the way that I don't write like that. I don't talk like that. And I don't because then I'm talking over other people's heads, but that's the way these people love to speak. But it still isn't getting the point across. It is still beating around the bush. Oh, I first engaged with leadership in early 2022 with a goal of strengthening peer recovery support within detox services. Since then, there have been multiple leadership transactions and repeated discussions. Despite ongoing dialogues, many of us working on the front lines have not seen measurable improvement in peer integration, transparency in partnerships, or clear resource vetting standards. I guess it is doing it now. It's getting to it. Okay. Colorado continues to rank at the bottom nationally in recovery support access while overdose rates rise. Yet locally, the structure and the partnerships appear largely unchanged. The reality has raised some questions within the recovery community. Now, the only thing that I'd like to be in there, really from mine, that's not in there, is the insanity part that they're giving us the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I want that in there somewhere. It goes on. Concerns have also been communicated, not only by me, regarding partnerships with organizations later connected to Medicaid fraud and body brokering practices. Those concerns were shared in good faith with leadership. Seeing those same organizations publicly aligned with East Metro has amplified community unease. Actually, it did much better on that than me. That one, it kicked my butt on that one. Additionally, offers to assist in strengthening ethical resource vetting and peer-to-peer collaboration have been made multiple times over the past several years without any clear follow-up or implementation. With the discontinuation of consistent public forums such as ACTCC meetings, there are now limited avenues for constructive dialogue. To be clear, this is not about personal grievance. It is about outcomes and accountability. We cannot expect improved recovery outcomes if the system and partnerships remain static while overdose rates increase. So I am asking directly, is East Metro willing to formally evaluate and strengthen its peer integration model and resource compatibility practices? If so, several of us in the community are willing to participate constructively. If not, clarity on that direction would also be appreciated. The preference is collaboration. However, continued silence and lack of measurable change are contributing to broader concerns within this community. So I guess it did kind of say it. Because I hate to say it, but there needs to be a threat of some point. Hey, if you're not going to follow through, and it's not a threat, it's the next action. If you don't follow through, then we're going to show up. Right? We're going to show up to your meetings. We're going to ask these questions. We're going to start picketing your location. We're going to make it difficult for you to do your job so that you have to listen to us. Yes. They need to know that somehow. All right. So with that out, you can kind of see the difference between one was pretty angry. I'll admit it. I don't, all right, all right. And no, I didn't. I have not sent it. It has not been sent. Okay. No, what I did is I sent it to my sponsor. Okay, because he's probably the best person out of that. Okay. Oh, and Michelle, thank you reminding me about the Aleve. It helps so much more. So thank you for that. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. It's moving, at least it's still the same, but at least it isn't aching and hurting. So thank you for that. I had forgotten about it. So I'm glad there was another option. I really do. Because, the Oxycontin, it takes the pain away, but it just makes me loopy. And I don't really like it. I don't like it. So, all right. So with me, after all that being said, and me, running my mouth a lot, is it advocating or is it anger? Well, the first one, when it says things like, I'll be a thorn in your side, um, you know, I also don't want to create division. And if there is a chance of getting this stuff changed, I want to be able to do it. Okay. But ChatGPT it brought up a couple of good points when I was writing it, right? Because I gave him the email. It's like I gave him the email. Oh my god, and it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny. So I gave it the email, the one I read first, right? And it goes, Dion, I'm gonna be straight with that. What you wrote has a real pain and real conviction in it, but if you send it, it send it as is to an executive, it will trigger defenses, get dismissed as emotional, damage credibility, and close doors instead of opening them. And that's not what I wanted. That's not what I want, right? It brought up some good points. That my anger in it is going to bring up some defenses. It's going to go against my own credibility, you know. So, um, Michelle says, okay, send it. They both sound good, but you made the point with me earlier. Chat GPT does give it a professional touch. It did help. I would say that. I think that the one with Chat GPT is going to land better. Okay. Now, because I have to keep other things, I have to keep in mind other things about this. Okay. This person's been in this job 3 months. Okay. But the way I see it, that's not my fucking problem. I've been trying for 4 years. So to me, and I'm getting tired of having to rebuild relationships because they can't hold on to their people, right? Not only that, but I have a good relationship with one of the higher ups and I don't want to piss her off, right? I still want to keep this ally. I'm glad I took the AA meeting portion out because I would still like to do that. If I can help and help more people, I'm going to. And there were some people that said that they would help me with it that I really enjoy hanging out with. So, some of you listened to Lauren's podcast. She was on a few weeks ago. And Casper is another guy helping. He told his story at our AA meeting last weekend. Both great people. And I don't want to cut that off for them too, right? So, see, I've got to think of everybody involved with this whenever I make any kind of move. Now, yesterday I made the statement, okay, that said some people took it as I'm not advocating anymore. That isn't what I was saying. I said I'm not seeking it anymore. If God puts it in my lap, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm still going to do what I do, but I'm not going to go out of my way, right? And what Dion wants to do is going to be the priority over that. So I'm going to do what Dion wants to do, and then if there's time left over, I will do the advocating. It's about shifting things so that Dion has a better chance at these things, right? And I'm sure we can all agree with that. Right? But it does require a little bit of anger. But Dion tends to forget how rough he grew up, right? So I really like this. Like Dion, like it's like what you wrote has real pain and conviction in it. But if you send it, man, you're fucked. I appreciate it. I appreciate ChatGPT being honest with me. I can go for that. All right. Even though I want to do it the way that I want to do it, So I still need direction. All right. So wait for this to pull up a little bit because I did ask it to do a little outline for me here. And we'll kind of get to that since we were talking about what I was kind of wanting to talk about, if that makes sense. All right. And I told him, like, give me an outline, but use my perspective only. And it's gotten to know me because the first thing it said, Hook, for 5 years, I've been fighting for better recovery in my community, but I had to ask myself, is this advocacy or is this anger? And I do. We have got to ask ourselves these questions. Am I doing this because I have a resentment? No, it did not say you're fucked. It was much nicer, but it said if you send it, you'll blow credibility. They'll take it off, take it as emotional. They won't read it. That's what it said. But it would have been funny if it would have said, yeah, if you send that, you're fucked. That would have been funny. No, that was just a joke. Right? But we have to ask ourselves these questions, right? Because what is it? What do I keep saying? That any alcoholic with the best of intentions with no accountability is doing the wrong thing. I'm going to tell you, it's really hard. Now, why am I so passionate about this? Well, number one, it affects me directly. It affects you directly. You may not even notice it. If you're not in the field, you're not going to notice it. Well, you might. When was the last time you did 12-step call? Seriously. It's because I care very, very deeply. I've been a part of the system all my life, and I fight the system. I do, because it doesn't work. The system taught me how to be a better criminal. Okay? It didn't do much more. Right? I've seen the fake recovery. I see it all over. I have been a part of, when I worked detox in the 90s, it was exciting, man. Everyone was on the same team. Nobody was trying to pull bullshit, man. None of this stuff was going on. It was help the next person. Was it all about AA? No, it was not. Well, Bridie was around. We had other things going on. Absolutely. But detox was one alcoholic helping another alcoholic. Okay. And these are supposed to be what they call, what are they? Peer detoxes. No, what is it? Community detoxes, something like that. Okay. Then why is everybody all clinical? I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you the reason why they're all clinical. Because Medicaid pays more for clinical than it does spiritual. That's why. Because Medicaid pays more. When you run a detox, you get paid one of two ways if the government's involved, right? Just the government money. Now, if they have their insurance or self-pay insurance, that's something different. You get paid one of two ways. It used to be the one way that we got paid, and it was the only way, by success rate. And it's the best way. Well, at some point, somebody came along and said, if you hire people with bachelor's degrees, we will pay you even more. So that's what they do. Yeah. That move was so unthinking because non-alcoholics, dude, they just don't fucking understand that we can do what they can't. Okay. Now we come across another problem. Why would somebody be a non-alcoholic and work in this field? Because they come from an alcoholic family. So what am I working with? I'm not working with alcoholism, but I am working with dysfunction and a spiritual malady, just like mine. But they're still dysfunctional. So they're running around trying to save everybody. And then what happens is they'll let anybody in. And I'm over here going, I've been here yelling at you for 4 years, trying to help for 4 years. You won't even give me an answer. All right. So that's part of it. Sorry, I can see this big eyebrow hair just hanging there, and it's bothering me. I don't think I got it. No, didn't. I can still see it on camera. Right. So what do I take it personally? Yeah. Sometimes I do. But the only reason I do is because there's a lot of shit talk about me. People talk shit about me all the time. I know it. Think I don't know. Even in my grassroots, I know people are bitching around. So, but they get mad at me because I take their money and I put it in the right place. Or I go over here and say, do we really want to have people handling this who have committed Medicaid fraud? Is that what we want? I don't, but you seem to be okay with it. Okay. I have this set of morals that will not allow me to work with you if you are supporting shitty people. Uh-uh. I don't do it in my personal life. Won't do it in my business life. Nope. Why should I? We have got to challenge these places. You've got to, if you work a detox and you are sending somebody to a sober living and you've never even toured it, you haven't talked to any of the people over there, you are doing a disservice. Well, it's on the list. It's amazing. They just hand you a list. Well, here you go. Good luck. That's it, man. It's disgusting. Okay. Now, if these were recovered alcoholics, it would not be working that way. Nope. Okay. So here's a good question, and maybe somebody else can answer this for me, right? So I asked them, I'm like, at least let us start an AA meeting there. They're like, you can start an AA meeting here, but the clients can't go. You tell me the reason behind that. I know the clinical reason. I kind of know why. Because a staff member would need to be in the meeting. So what? We've done it for years. So you tell me, do they really want me to help? Or are they using Dion to make the community think that they are better people? Because I think it's the second one. Why are they intentionally going out of their way to leave the clients out? Wouldn't be a HIPAA violation, right? Now, okay, so you can tell me if I'm off on something, let me know, because I want to find a legitimate reason why they're doing that so I can move forward. But something in my gut tells me it's an appeasement, and Dion doesn't do appeasement. That's another waste of my time. They are not thinking of me, even though I am thinking of them. Right? So when advocacy starts turning into anger, right? When it's more frustrating than hopeful, right? It's been a while since I have had to make an amends for my advocating. It has. It's been a while. And I'm not going to say that I haven't had to make an amends, because I have, on how I approached. But that's why I do it the way that I do it now. All right. Because I don't want to ruin relationships either. But how do you get the word out? How do you get the word out? I feel like I'm working with the fucking Epstein files here. Yeah. People just keep batting me away. Right? And the only reason I can think of why people would bat me away is because they don't want me to see what they're doing. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? When you start fighting people instead of fighting the problem, that's when I know something is off. When it gets personal, when it's like, oh, this person at this place, No, this is me saying East Metro Detox. What do we got here, man? What are we doing here? Right? Now I talk about the director a lot, but that's because who I talk. That's who I talk to. The manager over there, he won't even write me back anymore. He's a yes man. That's all he is. He is. He's weak. I know. I worked with him. He's not. He doesn't have that manager skill in him. He can't say no. And we wonder why all these people are in there doing stupid shit. Because he doesn't know. He doesn't understand our loneliness. He doesn't understand what a DT feels like. He doesn't understand the sweats and all this other stuff that goes with it. He doesn't understand any of it. Does he need to? No, but let me at least come in and make this person willing to talk to you. At least. So, the ego trap. There we go. Do I want change or do I want to be right? Do I want impact or am I seeking validation? All these things are legitimate. In the beginning, I did want to be right. I wanted validation. That in the beginning, right? That was 5 years ago. And I made the mistake too of creating division in the recovery community, and I made an amends for it. Did I get an amends back? No. I wasn't expecting one. Okay? But I caught it then. And it was part of my PTSD. Don't forget, I have PTSD. Yes, I'm advocating. I'm out here advocating I have PTSD. All right. Now, I invite people to help me do this, but nobody's ever shown up with me. Tyler showed up with me once in one place. All right. But people are busy and stuff too. Tonight, 6:30, there's a guy, Scott Bottoms. He's running for governor. He's talking down the street. I'm going to go down and ask questions. I doubt anybody else in the community will be down there asking the questions I'm going to ask. Nobody ever is. So that's part of it. You start to doubt yourself when people aren't like, yeah, that's correct. That's right. Absolutely. Now, do I need the validation? No, I know I'm correct. And this isn't, but shoving it down other people's throats isn't going to work either. I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. All right. So, yeah, self-will versus surrender. And yesterday, what I was doing was I was surrendering a little bit. Yeah. I'd take a little bit more off my plate so I could do some of the things that Dion wants to do. And I got some people sent me some said, well, you're just turning your back. No, I'm not doing that. Okay. But if you're not helping me, you don't get the right to tell me that I'm turning my back on something either. All right. If you are not actually helping me, then I do not want your unsolicited advice. I don't. Okay. Because I've already worked through these things. But if you want to come join and show up with me and write emails and do this other stuff, great. Now, there's a lot of times I come on here and I straight up ask for advice. I sent the email to my sponsor asking for advice. Absolutely. All right. But I'm not big on people telling me what to do either. Don't tell me how to advocate. And I tell you now, don't determine other people's feelings. Okay. You're angry. Why are you angry? Because you're calling me angry. Okay. You call me angry, that's what you're going to get. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy says, Dion, down here in Tampa Bay doing the deal. Awesome, man. Awesome, Jimmy. That's cool stuff, man. Love you, brother. Michelle says, oh, I wish I could. Yeah, I bet if you were in Colorado, you'd be able to help me. I bet you'd help me. And I'm not talking about anybody that's really any of my followers or anything. No, I'm talking about the people that work in the field that refuse to stand up because they have fear of pushback and stuff. That's what I'm talking about. All my friends and stuff, that's something entirely different. So I apologize if it came out a different way. So I'm really glad that you said something. Thank you. All right. Burnout. It's one reason why I'm stepping back from some of it. Burnout. I only get so much energy during the day, 6 to 7 hours every day, if I'm lucky. That's on a good day. I don't get 10, 12 hours like everybody else, 14. All right. So, feeling unheard, that was a big one. You know how long it's taken me to get to this point where people are actually, yeah, 3 years before anybody did anything. 3 years. I've been running my mouth for 5. I've been doing this 8. All right. So, feeling like you're shouting at the wind, feeling like you're the only one pushing. Yeah. I can't save a system if I lose my serenity, and my serenity must come first. Yes. My happiness, my livelihood, my recovery comes first. Because without it, there is no second place. There is nothing second. It would just be about alcohol, right? Yeah. So, what does real advocacy look like? And I still have things to learn on this myself too. Right. So I can't, right. It's a calm conviction with clear boundaries, which I have. I don't know if I have a calm conviction, right? Other than I have a conviction, but I don't know that's necessarily calm. I do have clear boundaries. I do. I work on solution instead of the fighting. If every time I go and advocate, I bring a solution with me. I'm not going to just give the problem and say, what are you going to do about it? No, I have a solution. Ah, got to help the willing, letting go of forcing outcomes. Real advocacy is steady, not explosive, right? Now, this is what I was talking about yesterday, right? About backing off, right? And for me, the way I see it is that if God wants me to take care of something, he will put it in front of me, whether that's a person, place, or thing. And that's where I'm at. So what does that mean? I stop chasing. I'm done appeasing. I'm done trying to convince everyone. Okay. That way I can focus on my mission and let the right people come in. Yeah. I believe that God will do that for me. And I've asked. And I bet he'll do it. I bet that's exactly what will happen. God will put the people in my life that he needs to either have me help or they're there to help me. Or maybe we're coming together so we can help somebody else. All right. Amber says, just picked up a hoop skirt. The lady is a photographer and was trying to make a sale. Ha ha, I got a taste of my own medicine. Right. So I'll do the work, but God is going to handle the results. So what's the difference? All right. What's the difference in energy? Well, anger energy is tight, reactive, defensive, and combative. It is. Advocacy is more grounded, purposeful, clear, and peaceful but firm. So if I lose my peace, I've lost the plot. Right. Now, right now, I may even sound angry, but I'm not. This is my voice. Okay. This is angry. That's if my voice goes to boom, if I do that on purpose. This is not my normal voice. That booming voice is. And that's what I mean when I lower the boom. And then people assume that I'm angry. Happens to me often when it's not anger. And assuming makes an ass out of you. Okay? Doesn't make an ass out of me. I didn't assume. You can keep your assery to yourself. All right. Caring is good. Passion is good. But if anger is running it, then I need to check myself. Right? So I'm not quitting. I am refining. I'm building. I'm not battling. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.